Assalamu alaikum. Nice to see you. I
Likewise, can you turn up your volume a bit? You're very soft.
uh-huh.
All right,
No?
I can hear you now. That the clip of the fire must have been very, very distressing for you. Um, Tell us about the plight of the Uyghur Muslims. We know that they've been housed in concentration camps. We know that they call these camps reconditioning camps or training camps or whatever they might be. But it's not reconditioning for them Islam and for them to be forced into labor, into cheap labor for the Chinese government and the Chinese market. Tell us more about the situation.
Yes, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. So, actually, East Turkestan is part of Islamic world until 1949, the occupation. Actually, we call it East Turkestan because it's part of the Central Asia, the big, the Turkestan, the region. So, East Turkestan people after the occupation faced a lot of uh, various uh, human rights violations, assimilation, and kind of massacres. And all of them actually had been done in aims to colonize them, assimilate them, and change their identity. And also, the China trying to colonize completely the East Turkestan to use its energy and other uh, natural minds and other things for its national interest. So for that the East Turkestan uh, since through during the 73 years of occupation, the people in the first term, all the land is seized by the Chinese government, and then we went through 10 years of cultural revolution since the between 1965 to 1975, and also after that we uh, just suffered a lot of massacres in several cities of East Turkestan. And today, after 2014, the Chinese government uh, just witnesses that the East Turkestan people, they resisted and they didn't lost their identity, but they attach it to it more, and they want to implement uh, more rapid and assimilation policies, that the China want to assimilate completely the nation in 5 years. So in 2016, we can saw the Chinese government established concentration camps to categorize the people to the terrorists or non-terrorists. Who are the terrorists? So according to the Chinese rules or Chinese announcement, China said who is like a Islamic clothing, Islamic bread, or who just went to Hajj and who speak Arabic, or who speak Turkish language, who visited Turkey, Dubai, or Saudi Arabia, or anyone who has any relations with Islam or his own national identity, who will be a terrorist. That means the China just put ethnical identity and religious identity and also national identity, cultural identity of one whole nation, just put it in a custody and just show it, demonstrate it as a terrorism, signs of terrorism. So after that, after 2016, we know that the China just arrested more than 8 million people and trying to uh, assimilate them in concentration camps. The most lucky people, they just went through 3 months, 1 year, or 2 years of the concentration camps training, which they will lose their religion and they will lose their own cultural identity, and they also have to abandon all anything related to their identity, then should become a Chinese man, a communist, a non-Muslim. So those kind of thing happened in East Turkestan, and the concentration camp survivors actually they witnesses that a lot of like massive rape, torture, and organ harvesting and other kind of human rights violations actually are happening inside concentration camps. And also there is the other the people the China says they are real threat and that put them in jail. We know that after 2016 the Chinese government arrested and sent just jailed millions of people in like various names and various crimes, mostly are because their religion or their national identity or their support to any kind of Uyghur school or any kind of humanitarian aid in the East Turkestan. So after 2016 we saw a lot of businessmen, a lot of writers, famous people, actors who has any social attention. Actually, the China puts them in jail to just decrease decrease the influence of the Uyghur people in the region. So
Okay,
right now in
okay. Let's just
2022,
All right, let me just read out a few tweets regarding the fire, and then we'll come back to you to pick up the story of the plight of the Uyghur people. We have a tweet here from Julian Koo, who says, when this Beijing resident showed how the fire doors were suddenly padlocked and all other exits suddenly locked, I began to fully understand how terrifying the Urumchi fire story must be to the folks all over in China. C.J. Werleman, who is a human rights campaigner against Islamophobia, had this to say about the situation in that part of the world. Obviously, the fires that we are referring to, the fire in Urumchi. C.J. Werleman says that China has cut off power to many Uyghur apartment buildings, leaving them without heat in the dead of winter. Some try lighting fires in the living room to keep warm. When apartment burst into flames, the fire quickly spreads, but with no escape possible because China locked the doors. That is a very, very sad situation indeed. You have indicated that 8 million Uyghur people were imprisoned by the Chinese authorities. They've been placed in concentration camps, while more than 500,000 were imprisoned in children's camps. We also know about the violations. You talk about um, other human rights violations against the Uyghur people, how their body parts are used and sold on, how women are forced into aborting their unborn children, how women are being raped repeatedly in the concentration camps, and much, much worse. Is there any hope at all? Are there any areas at all where the Uyghur people can live in peace and harmony and are able to practice their beautiful religion of Islam without being persecuted? Or is that just a dream for now?
Yeah, I can say it's like a dream. Actually,
Okay, sorry. We'll have to
Yeah.
take an ad. The sound is terrible. Please do stand by. Maybe we'll ask you to